Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to another episode of our Black Myth Wukong Let's Play. So we're back here next to the frozen lake. We're told to go to that temple, but before we do that, we're going to explore the area around here since there will be a boss fight waiting for us at the temple. The little noise we hear is that bat up there. And we do have a new staff. I went back and farmed some more will so that we could construct the staff that we earned after... Will he come down? After we defeated the Yellow Wind Sage. Oh, he has a range spell? Now this is a pretty big area. This is the staff that gives our... Wow, I shouldn't have standing after he dies, he does swing his club. Gives our fourth light attack combo, as well as the twirling staff, this move, extra damage. And there's a nice 7% crit on the staff as well. A new material. Apparently a type of pear. It's going to be useful for some sort of recipe. Oh, no, stay away, stay away. He does swing. I don't want to walk into the lake just yet. We checked out the right side. Let's go take a look at the left side. How did we miss you? Did he just throw it? Or he launched a projectile at us? We'll take the level up. It looks slightly different. I did change some of the things, but nothing super big. We're still using the smash stance. I'm pretty much relying on it because I think until we get a lot of extra points, I'd rather just focus on one moveset that I get really comfortable with before adding like the switching of the stances and then learning how to use two sets properly. And plus there's so many other places where I want to use these points. Like the spells that we have. Also went back to this temporary invisibility spell instead of the defensive one because I feel like it's probably more useful. I've been trying to build up the crit. Basically if we wait in the shadow, our first strike has extra crit and that increases the crit chance on that move. Why do I hear more sound? Is there another bat somewhere? Yep. It's not dead. Don't fly. If you fly, it's going to be a little bit difficult to catch him. I thought we got the right side cleared, but apparently not. While the stages are getting bigger and bigger, I do believe Chapter 3 has the biggest stage in the game, so it will become more manageable after this. Okay, we got a lot of frozen disciples over there. I will circle back. Can we actually get up here? Doesn't look like it. They're all walking towards what looks like a statue. waterfall as well. Frozen lake, but pretty lively waterfall. Alright, that might be as far as we're going to get on the left side. All of them are going towards that one chest under that statue. We'll start with the ones in the back. The ones without weapons, they'll just break. The ones with weapons, they will pop up. Our damage is slightly off with a single charge. We also missed this guy back here. I don't want to get too close to the lake in case we trigger the boss fight before I finish exploring everything. Oh, that's also new, I think. Oh no, Longdan. We had this before. I think the flower's just kind of coated with snow, so looks slightly different. Another one. Ow. Ooh, there's a meditation spot there. I think 2 charges is a kill. I hear footstep. Okay. Wow, he dashes far. Now, where did I miss him? That's the question. I feel like I got everyone before approaching this area, but maybe not. Anyways, let's grab the meditation spot and move on with the boss fight. Fishing on a frozen lake. I guess you could break the ice first. And as we mentioned before, the little temple resembles that of the animated series where Wukong transformed into such a temple with the 2 rounded windows and the door frame as his mouth. And then the tree here would be his tail. How would we spend this point? Increase the health capacity of our clone that's left behind. Now there's a pretty secretive item hidden on this lake. I don't know if we're able to grab it before triggering the fight, But essentially what you want to do is track right. And we're going to go for a long stroll. Oh, never mind. We're grabbed into the cutscene. Can't go that way right now. And there's something in the waters. 土地. The local soil deity is also above us. So good, so good. Now notice, this Mila Fo is wearing a yellow robe. The one we saw at the beginning of the stage is of a azure bluish robe. So he's saying someone still remembers our smell, and this is his sack, one of his magical items. This is the Yellow Brow, the boss of the stage. He's taking the shape of his master. He claimed whoever he's releasing is his disciple now. Let's see if this monkey is worth it to become my student. Kang-Jin Lo. This is one of the 28 constellations, and she previously... Oh, it's all illusion. She previously was the one who offered her horn to rescue Wukong in the original Journey to the West, but now she's been kind of brainwashed inside the sack, and we have to fight her. I don't know if that was smart, but we're gonna charge up and see if I can slam my... Oh. Not enough time. Ooh. Ow. That just stuns us? I need her to get close to us. Okay, that's not even giving us a chance to hit back. What if we try... Okay, we're gonna try something. Dragons, eastern dragons, fly in the air like fishes swim in the water. So if we stop the air or the wind, using the bead we got from stage 2, they drop. Now this is when you stay. Or probably not gonna get, oh, that hit, it did do damage. Probably not gonna get a chance to do that again. Ow. Can't land hits. That's the problem. Oh, maybe now? Ooh, she got us good. I think we can use the bead maybe earlier and hope to use it twice in the fight. The problem is she's not very sticky. She keeps the distance very well. Alright, we'll see if we can approach this a little bit differently. Get down. And then summon, and you just stay there. Alright, that knocked her down again. Let's see if she goes after the fake body or not. Kind of. Nope. Nope. Still got hit. She's in her second form for sure, half health, and her moveset's completely changed. Alright, when is she gonna come down? That's the question. Ow. There's a chance. Can't hit her. Maybe we need to change to thrust stance if this is the case. I can't get the gap close. Get down, get down. There we go. Ow. I'm just getting smacked around. Ow. That really hurts, and don't know how to exactly dodge that. Okay, there's a biting animation. Are we not dead? Well, we're almost dead. That's the last of our med. This is the only thing we can do. Now, to be fair, Guangzhou does have a good gap close. So we might be able to carry this one back. Or not. Okay. Got a little closer. Maybe no clones. I don't think the clone's worth that much. Rather have the halt spell a couple more times. Gonna try the smash stance one more time. If not, maybe change the build to thrust so that we can gap close ourselves. And I don't think we're gonna get 2 uses of the halt wind, so we might not time it right away, because I think, at least in the first half, she stays mostly close to us. At least not in the air. As long as it's not in the air, I think it's fine. Ow. I thought I dodged it. Great start. Literally 90% of our health. Oh, that's a tail move. Maybe I should try to halt that? It's a tail. Yeah, okay. We learned that combo. Get down. Oh, that needed to hit to drop her down. Maybe? Oh, we got the opening. Oh, she's still not down there. Oh, she's down. Big head when she's down. Alright, if she's gonna fly, then come down. Wait, it didn't work. At least it's a slight damage reduction, but it didn't knock her down. Okay, I need to change the camera so I can see the ground. No, there's no hitbox. Okay, I think we just reset this one. It had a bad start, but we did okay, and we kind of figured out a couple combos that the dragon does. Maybe we can put it all together. Alrighty, I think we can do this. Just gotta focus a bit on her movesets and dodge that first one, of course. First we have to get close. It's a tail. Knock her down. Keep her down. Yeah, this one I don't know how to dodge at all. No, not again. You want to come down and fight? I can't see the ground with the camera stuck on her. Okay, that kind of dodged it, I guess. Alright, head is pretty low. There's a tail after this. No, got away at the last moment there. Alright, knockdown please. But so temporary. Alright, there's a tail after this one. And we got her. Ooh, that took a couple tries. After this reincarnation cycle, don't think you can return to Nirvana. Wait, didn't we beat this monkey? Oh, it's a dream. It's the Nirvana zone, basically kind of like limbo. Someone's making comment whether the person here that just arrived, is it a deity or a monster? So we got a couple new stuff. We have a new recipe for a weapon. It has slightly more base damage, slightly less crit chance compared to what we're using, which I think it's an improvement with 4 extra base damage. There's a set move, which I don't think is what we're using, Dao Suan Da, which I think is from the thrust stance. The damage becomes lightning damage and will stack lightning on the enemy. Quite useful. But once again, we're quite poor at this state. And that's what we got her horn. Did we fight a new minion? When did we fight this monk? Was it on the snowfield? Of all the yakshas who joined this, I guess, false Western realm or small Western realm, or sometimes translated as lesser Western realm, essentially the area here, most had grudges that's unsettled. And they became 俗家弟子. So basically, they are monks, they're disciples, but they are not full practitioners, and they don't like have to shave their head. They don't have to follow all the rules, which makes sense because a lot of these yakshas we read before are still eating meat and so forth. And they are staying in the temple as these sort of 俗家弟子, as it's translated, kind of like disciples who still have mortal ties. And some of these yaksha, because they want to reach true enlightenment, did indeed shave their hair and become, true disciples. And they they promised their teacher that they want to execute 1,000 heads to prove their kind of desire to reach true enlightenment. And this made Gillibrow quite happy and gifted them these giant blades called jiedao, and called them the monks with these blades, jiedao seng. And they're sent into this, I guess, Nirvana zone, this limbo realm, to kind of cultivate and practice. And they do indeed fulfill their 1,000 kills, then they're summoned back to become Luohan, which is a tier of on the path to Buddhahood. There are Buddha on top, which are typically called Fo, and then afterwards you have the Pusa or the Bodhisattva, and then below them you have Luohan and then Jinggang. Typically Luohan and Jinggang, I don't know the Sanskrit translation, but they're more geared towards the martial art way of reaching enlightenment. Jinggang in particular are typically depicted as really tall, strong brutes whose sole purpose is to protect the Pusa and the Buddhas as well. In the beginning, these monks thought this would be an easy thing to do. Within this Nirvana realm are a bunch of people who came earlier to practice and has been locked here for many, many years. And because they've been locked here for so long, all of them want to prove themselves in this zone by killing people. Those who remain in the zone are quite strong. They are ghosts or wandering spirit who died from freezing cold or hunger, and they can't catch them because they're so agile. And the reason why they're so agile is they're the surviving ones, right? The ones who are slow already got killed. And then there are those who are, we've seen these before, the warden with the lamps. And they're like a tree branch, so they're very thin and twiggly, I guess. And they're difficult to deal with. There are also the night yakshas, whose temperament is unpredictable and are quite mean in a fight. The weakest of them all are these so-called cloud-piercing ghosts. But ever since they started practicing the blind meditation style, they became quite crazed and wild, making them quite scary to deal with as well. So basically, everyone inside this zone that we're stuck in right now is quite powerful and strong. And then one day they see that there is a red hair ghost who frequently likes to meditate alone. Seems like a pretty humble guy, or pretty easy to deal with person, might be weak, So they thought maybe we can fight this red hair ghost. They need to stack their 1,000 kills. The red hair ghost feels like everyone deserves a chance to live, but because his previous kingdom in the mortal realm, right? He's a ghost, so he died already. His kingdom got destroyed, and in that final fight, he witnessed a lot of executions. In war, oftentimes soldiers would cut the head off, behead them, so that they can prove they got a kill on the battlefield, and they get paid for it like that. And therefore, he hates people who execute. So he's merciless against these monks in particular because they're here after heads. And in return, he actually cuts their head off. After suffering through this lesson, these monks with the saber are much more tame and pacified. They learn quite a lot, and even though, they feel like they still need to get these kills in, and they frequently hide and ambush in the corners, and they can only basically use these tactics to try to fulfill their 1,000 kills. Have we actually fought one of these? I feel like they would only exist in this realm, right? So have we actually met one? Oh, we got all the... So we got the ghost who died of hunger and freezing cold, and the red hair ghost. Are they just giving us these codex? Or are they like right next to us? Anyways, so this is the ghost who died of freezing hunger. So in years past, within this mountain, so next to the, I guess, the small western realm, there was a village of the meditation light. We've seen this village appear in other codex. And within this village was a young man. He and a girl that he grew up with, who, childhood love, have decided to kind of elope and decide that they were going to marry each other. They haven't eloped yet, but they basically they had a private agreement that they're going to marry each other. And they used this white jade as their symbol of love. And they promised that, well, he promised in the future when he gets wealthy and have enough money for to give a gift to the family for asking the hand in marriage, or when he's capable of asking her family in the hand for marriage, he will do so. The young man is a small traveling merchant. He sells grains for a living. And then one day, in the river next to the village, came this giant ship, very glamorous and decorated to the brims, something that these villagers have never seen. And in the front of the ship was this chubby monk in a yellow cloak. So this must be the Yellowbrow arriving, and he's glittering in gold, and everyone says he must be a truly enlightened monk. After the ship have arrived, the temple in the mountain started to get renewed construction and became bigger and bigger. And because there's more people here, the business of this young man selling grains, grew bigger as well. He's making more money. One time, he went out to sell his grain for a few months and did not return. So he went into the mountain to the temple to sell the grains and wasn't able to return home. So his childhood love, the girl that he decided that he's going to get married in the future, started to visit the temple to ask, or she started asking about how to get to the temple because she wants to go there and find, her lover. By the time the young man returned, because he didn't actually disappear, he just went for a long time, the two of them weren't able to meet. So basically, she didn't know he returned, but she already went, and she kind of disappeared into the mountains. So the young man, now panicking because his lover's gone, gathered other young men in the village, brave young souls, I guess. Almost translate to warriors, but basically young, fit men of the village, and they went into the mountain to search, right, to find this missing girl. As they, travel along the road, they couldn't find anyone. Across the riverbank, they see these tall pagodas being constructed. So he led his band of village folks over there to rest up, find some shelter and rest up. Just as they got in front of the pagoda, the doors opened by themselves, and those who were curious walked in to sneak a peek. And they became quite shocked as the sound of their amusement came out endlessly. And it turned out that within this door, deep inside the mountain, in this pagoda, is an underground prison. So this is where we are. And it seems like there's a lot of people who are captured in here. The villagers became, quite brave and, feels like this is injustice that there would be a prison here. So they all charged into the tower, but before they got very far in, they hear this loud bang as the doors of the pagoda disappeared. So it's not even just closed, the door's just gone, vanished. And from these cells came out a couple of strange looking monsters, and holding in their hand they have scythe, and they have a giant stomach, and they're, laughing in glee at these village folk who just walked in. One of them threw a bag of money at the young man, but then, can't even wait and jumped out, swinging his scythe around, and cut these villagers into many pieces. And this is when everyone realized they've been fooled by the young man. So he did this on purpose. He tricked them all to be here, and it seems like this is the business he's been doing. So he's a different type of grain salesman. And after they discovered they've been, fooled by this young man, they started to run, running deeper and deeper into this prison because there's no doors. The young man, stares at them and says, "Since I already lost all that I have loved, I can't lose money at this point." Okay. I mean, he's definitely done this before, or at least he worked out this plan. But now he's feeling like he doesn't even have the goal of marrying this girl that he loved since his youth. He might as well commit to making more money. This is the red hair ghost. Back in the kingdom of the yaksha. So yaksha is like a race of spirits. This is a interesting term, but it comes from, I guess, native Indian folklore. I think they appear in both Buddhism and Hinduism. But in Buddhism, they essentially are these wandering spirits, quite violent and non-believers, and Buddhist believers or monks essentially wiped out this race. And this is, I guess, back before that. In their kingdom, there were 8 generals. One of them was called Mi Yan, and he used to live under the foothills of where Buddha lives. And he followed Jinding Da Xian. Is this the I guess the big condor monster from the original Journey to the West, the one that teamed up with the blue-faced lion and the elephant mount? But he fought under him, and he fought many, many battles and was deemed worthy of 10,000 foes. One time, when a strong enemy came attacking, the king of the Yaksha ordered him as the vanguard general, and he garrisoned his troops at the boundaries of his kingdom. And he told his troops that those who run away in fear in battle, if you're basically going to be a coward, you can leave today, and I will not blame you. But if you stay and we defend and we fail to hold this ground, our country behind will, be destroyed. All the elderly and the youth behind in the kingdom, everyone's wealth, will be given to others. So think, twice before you decide if you want to fight or not. And hopefully you all decide to fight and be brave. And after he says this, everyone made a blood oath to only go forward and never back. So the war resumes, and it's an overwhelming enemy force. They're the only ones defending their kingdom. They have no help, and the enemy's coming from all 4 directions with banners that, feels endless, covers the sky. And after, his army finish off a round of the enemy, another wave would come. And he and his subordinates fought many, many battles. They took heavy casualties. In the end, he got surrounded by various luohan. So this is the term we saw earlier. As I mentioned in the rankings of Buddhahood, they're below the Bodhisattva, and they're typically, the ones that go down the martial route. And he's surrounded by multiple of luohan, and he got killed and executed. So yeah, getting his head cut off, which is why he hates this. He witnessed so many troops sacrificed in this battle. Oh no, he didn't witness this. It's just that so many of his troops sacrificed their life to take his head back. They wanted their general to have a complete body after the war. They put his head into the coffin, but then they see the body slowly rise up and laments. If we lose our country, what does having a head or no head means? There's no difference. After that, his eyes shut and falls down, and he dies, completely. Yeah, the shutting of the eye, at least in Chinese culture, it means if you die without regret, you would, have your eyes shut. But if the moment of your death, you still have lingering desires in the world, you often just die with your eyes open, unwilling to die, essentially. And here he's making a comment about, seeing all his troops sacrifice their lives to get back his head. But essentially, blood's coming from his neck, and the blood is what dyes his hair red. Afterward, his troops fought bravely, and they poured the blood of their enemies on their head, copying their former general and dyeing their hair red with blood to prove their bravery. But in the end, the kingdom of Yaksha was destroyed. But even then, not one troop ran away from the fighting from his army. Okay, so he's a Yaksha general. And we just fought Kang-Jin Lo, which was a boss, a legit boss, which I guess explains why we fought so much. How many tries here? Kang-Jin Lo is one of the 28 constellations. Now, Jin means gold, and Lo means dragon. Kang here means the neck. She belongs, to the eastern quadrant. I mentioned how the Chinese divided the constellations into 4 quadrants, and each quadrant has 7 different constellations, and each of the quadrant also has an overarching celestial being that's associated with that area. The east for Chinese culture would be where the Zor dragon is located. So the entire 7 constellations together forms the shape of a dragon. The west is the white tiger. The north is Xuanwu, the turtle with the snake tail, and the south is the phoenix. So, or the red vermilion bird, depending on how you want to translate it. So this particular constellation of Kang-Jin Lo is the second set of constellation within the eastern realm, which is the Zor dragon realm. And because it's in the second slot, it resembles the neck of the Zor dragon. And Kang can be translated as the neck here. It's a term that's used in fortune telling as well, but also does have the meaning of neck. The Zor dragon also has horns, and the first constellation in this group is actually the horn constellation for that, also a dragon. So there's multiple dragons within the 28 constellations in terms of what kind of animal, quote unquote animal, is associated with them. And she was part of the story in Journey to the West, the important one, as it was her horn that freed Wukong from the golden symbol that we talked about last time. And it tells the story of her rescuing Wukong back then. But it seems like within their conscious, their godly conscious, an evil demon has corrupted their brains, basically. They've been brainwashed. There was one day, 斗牛宫. So 斗牛宫 is another, 斗牛宫点卯. It's like the cow constellation. 点卯 is when you check the hours, and there is one constellation who represents the rooster, which is his job to basically call the time. And he did not appear in the skies. So, it was time for the rooster to make their sound, the constellation, and he wasn't in the celestial heavens. And after asking around, no one knew where he went. And it was during this time that the Yellow Brow returned to this little Western realm and was hosting these new Buddhist conventions to ask followers and new potential followers and believers to show up, including, monsters, demons, gods, and Buddhas to attend. So Yellow Brow's a very special monster. He's not a monster himself. He's a disciple of Mila Fo, and he stole sort of, the future Buddha's magical items and came down to the mortal realm to set up this, lesser version of the Western realm. And he's doing this because he's convinced that he have already learned true enlightenment and that he can replace Mila Fo as the future Buddha, and which is why he's transforming to his shape in many of his appearances here. And he's trying to create his own sort of court of the Western realm, which includes like the various Buddhas, as well as the Pusa, and then you have the Luohan, Jinggang, as well as Zhu Tian, which are like Devatas, another sort of martial warrior that kind of guard these higher up ranking Buddhas and Pusa. And he's basically trying to form his version. He's transforming a lot of various monsters and even, I guess in this case, gods. We'll see how he does that. But Kang-Jin Lo asked the Celestial Court if he can get approval to go down to the mortal realm and investigate the whereabouts of their rooster constellation. And after she was approved to go and she went down, just like the rooster, they couldn't reach her anymore. So these constellations are now, debating and discussing this. And after a while, they discover that both the rooster and Kang-Jin Lo has a shared path of helping Wukong on their original journey to the west. So aside from calling down all 28 and having her horn open the symbol during this event, the rooster came out to help Wukong against the centipede monster, the 100-eye demon, because rooster beats bugs, and he was very good in using his abilities in that event. And they thought that perhaps because of their shared path with Wukong, that this time their disappearance has something to do with Wukong as well. And thinking back to all their relationship, so the rest of the 26 constellation with Wukong, they start to worry. And the wolf constellation says, even though he, messed up my plans in the past, I still respect him as, a respectable hero, or Hanzi means he's true to his word. But you guys frequently say so much good things about him, but today you guys are all silent. So they're kind of worried. These 26 constellation feels like maybe Wukong did something to these two constellation, and they're thinking back to how they previously dealt with him, because they did fight him back when Wukong challenged the Celestial Court. And this wolf constellation is just pointing out that you guys now fearing that he might act against you guys. You guys aren't saying good things about him, but previously, when he completed the journey, you guys said plenty of good things about him. But we know it's not Wukong here. It's the Yellow Brow who did this, as we saw Kang-Jin Lo come out of his sack. We got our first of 5 meditation spots, and I'm still curious why we got those codex pages for things we didn't fight yet. This is a pretty Buddhist, I guess, icon in a sense. The spinning of the metallic wheel and the tower formation. I think I'm not Buddhist myself, so it might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure in the Buddhist version of the world, you have this stink of monkey. So familiar. New guy, I'm gonna tell you my advice. If you run around randomly, you might get yourself killed. There's someone trapped in here. He's right there. Listen to me. The Yellow Brow used a lot of basically planning to create this prison. It's not something that you can just come and go as you please. Those turned crazy, those who died, no one has a good ending here. This is the Western Buddha realm. Preaching scriptures, sound appears, sound disappears, and our heart becomes a mess. You can't escape it either. Maybe copy me. Stop listening, stop seeing, and just sit here waiting for your death. So I do know his backstory, just that it's not revealed to us yet. Go back. Don't be stubborn about this. Don't listen to my good advice. Then you must be deaf. It's the same thing now. So he's Xiao Zhang Taizi, who's a character from the novel who came to help against Yellow Brow. There were 3 groups of people who came to help Wukong during the Yellow Brow, because every group got beat by the magical sack. And in the end, Milofo had to show up to take care of the situation. And he was part of, I believe, the 3rd and final group that came. His master was a Taoist immortal, and he came with 4 generals under him. His name means Xiao Zhang. Zhang is a surname, and Taizi means crown prince, because his origins in the novel is that he was the prince of this far western kingdom that was called the Kingdom of the Flowing Sand, that came east and joined this Taoist master and learned all his skills, and he was quite capable. Now, if you match that story with how the Kingdom of Hasili appeared in Stage 2, the Kingdom of Flowing Sand is much more fleshed out in the game than in the novel, and they're linking him as the 3rd prince who ran away from the Kingdom of the Sand before they were all turned into rats. So he's the missing 3rd prince. We killed his dad and his 2 older brothers already. He obviously doesn't know that. And in the prison cell, you see right there the body. That's a 2-headed rat. This is the refugee that we spoke to in the room in Stage 2, who was talking to himself with 2 different voices because he has 2 different heads, scared how to deal with the monster situation and how the kingdom's in ruins and they're trying to revive the kingdom. And they come to the conclusion their only hope is to find the 3rd prince, who is like the wise one and the most capable in terms of strategy. And they found him, but he has now blinded himself and also made himself deaf to protect himself from the preaching voices that repeats throughout this Pagoda prison. And that's what's turning people crazy, as well as turning people into these brainwashed forms. And it's where all the deities that get captured by the sack is locked away. And much like in the original novel, we have him locking up deities here, many of which were the ones that came and helped Wukong before, like Kang-Jin Lo, who we just fought. Okay, there's a well to use, so we can actually drink up if we want. Ooh, we collected this before. Oh, back to the Buddhist realm. So, I believe in the Buddhist worldview, you have this circular land. Ooh, what is this? It's the scriptures. That's the lantern wardens. Okay. They are like tree branches. So instead of carrying the lantern, they are the lantern. Wait, our health is halved. Okay, so this doesn't happen all the time, I guess. It's in waves. But there's another one. Alright, not too difficult to kill. You can see our eyes are glowing. But I guess we're resisting the situation. These are locks on the prison doors, and we can open them after we defeat one of the guardians of the place, which you do not want to do early. These lantern wardens, there are 9 of them total, and after you kill the 9th one, you get a accessory item, which disappears because the wardens would disappear. These lantern only appears when these chants appear, when you're like half health in this point. So if you beat the one who's spreading the preaching before then you're not gonna get that item. I do have enough to make this, but I don't think I want to wear it. Right now I have like a 2-piece set that's still okay, and I don't really value the 3-piece set bonus here. Clones and get damage reduction. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I'm gonna make it. I don't know if I'm gonna wear it. It does add 13 defense. No, I'll take it. Wow, there's 4 of these. I can't afford 4, so we'll just wait. But we definitely want these because they can give us permanent stat increases. These are all scriptures. That one has a weapon. Wait, that's a bow? Looks like a bat, maybe? Wait, could we have walked that way outside, or no? No. Okay. Right. Is it a bat archer? Well, these are the lantern. In old temples atop of mountains, through many seasons, the temple becomes old and worn, but the abbot returns. So this is about the Yellow Brow. They're talking about this temple here, the Thunder Sound Temple, the small Thunder Sound Temple. And despite the temple being in ruins and filled with sadness, seeing this, he spent much wealth and is able to reconstruct it in its former kind of splendor to prove or to showcase, his enlightenment and that his path is the true path. Within the mountains, he picked out a small patch of forest, and these are very old trees that reach into the skies, very tall, and that he wants to use these trees to be the beams that hold up his new temple. Those in charge, the workers in charge, followed the instructions given to them, constructed these little lumber camps around this area, and started to cut down these trees. Everything was going well. And before, 6 months was up, they got all the materials they needed, they got paid, and they cleaned up their belongings, and the next day they can, leave the mountains. They're done with their job here. That night, as the, workers who's in charge of guarding the night, patrolling around with a lantern, hears this sound coming from the woods, and he becomes quite scared. So he wakes up everyone. And everyone lights up these lanterns and carry their axes and follow the sound into the forest. When everyone, banded together, walked into the forest, someone let out a strange sound. And they don't know what did it, but the person who screamed, he got dragged by something into the darkness along with his light. Afterwards, no matter how the rest of them, ran in fear, whatever direction they ran, everyone eventually got dragged in, just like the first person. Only one person, one smart guy, decided to blow out the fire in the lamp that he was carrying as he sat there, in the darkness, in the night, scared and shaking, waiting and crawling around, just feeling it out in the dark. And finally, in the distance, he sees the first crack of light as the sun's about to come out. And using this light, he was able to find the path that, that led him here. And he was able to return back to the lumber camp. By the time he returned back to their camp, the sun was up and the sun was much brighter. And in front of his eyes is just this bright whiteness. Holding back the pain of opening his eyes to stare at this white light, he stares there and realizes that this light is not the light of the rising sun, but it's from the light of the lamps that his friends and his co-workers carried. But these lamps are now connected to this vine. And atop of this vine are also the heads of his co-workers, as well as the body. And then there was this yellow-cloaked, white-faced little baby. So the yellow brow in Miliford's baby form is riding atop of this four-legged beast. The beast gives away to this weird sound. And just as this last worker was about to open his mouth to beg for mercy, he feels a sudden coldness in his back. And then he sees himself rising off the ground slowly but higher and higher until he's at the same height as those lamps atop of this vine of this tree creature, or whatever this creature is. And this chubby baby pets the head of his beast, and the voice that the beast was making quiets down. All the lamp gives out, and the night returns to silence and cold darkness. And the chubby baby smiles and says, "Good material, just have to use them well." Or you gotta use, all of them to their greatest extent. So the trees that he picked out as these beams are also great trees for these monsters, I guess is the claim here. And also to just kill the workers who he did pay, but I guess afterwards the money comes back. The cloud-piercing ghosts are archers. Cloud-piercing is a description of their bow skills. Okay, makes sense. And they're yakshas as well. After the fall of the Yaksha kingdom, there were those survivors who roamed to other land as refugees. And these cloud-piercing ghosts are previously the ceremonial imperial guards. And they were archers serving in the Yaksha kingdom. And they were still quite proud of their previous title, and because of that, they refused to let go of their sort of decorative armor. But their archery skill was indeed quite skilled, even though they shot very, very slowly. So they were terrible in close combat, and because of this, they suffered quite a bit on their refugee route. So basically, like if they get into a fight, they're very fancy, they're very showy, but they're terrible in close combat, and they shoot very slow, even though they shoot pretty accurately. And because of their lack of combat skills, they relied on only ambushing from the dark. So the Yellow Brow assigned them into the dungeons so that they can practice their skills there. But in the dungeon, they suffer every day from the sound of the preaching of Miao Ying, which I guess you can translate as like wise voice or delightful voice. And when everyone's crazed, when the preaching sound starts, the monks with the big saber turn their knives towards them, wanting to cut off their head. Given no choice, they retaliate. So technically, they're all people that Yellowbrow sent here, so they should work for each other. But because the preaching sound drives everyone crazy, including the ones working for Yellowbrow, they have no choice but to fight back against those monks. And they seek help everywhere for tips to fight them. And frequently, when facing against the challenge of these saber monks, they would lose every time, and they would get embarrassed. Then one day, the blind monk that uses his fist and he's in charge of the temple, came to patrol in the dungeon. For their pursuit of the martial ways, they blinded themselves, but their fists are super skilled. So the Yaksha archers asked them how to get skilled with martial arts. And the monk says, you guys want to basically hit your shot, so accurately that you end up aiming for way too long and you lose the first opportunity. Why not copy me and get rid of your eyes? That way you can shoot with your heart and you will be accurate with every shot. So some that listened to him, they fully believed it, because this is the monk in charge, and they cut their own eyes off, which you can see why their eyes are covered in bandage. And then they changed their name to the Cloud Piercing Ghosts. Ever since this, the monks with the knives stopped bullying them. And when people asked those monks why, and they said, no one wants to fight with a crazy person. Yeah, the archers who cut their eyes off. Alright, this is gonna be a big area that's very windy and probably very difficult to traverse. And I expect jump scares behind every area. Now we can pop out, and we know we saw someone over here. That's a new one. That's the Saber Monk. We read about them, now we see them. This is still the frozen zombies. And we have a Cloud Piercing Archer up there. How do I get up there? I don't think I can get up here from this. I think I have to go to the second level and then get to him at that point. Right now I just have to kind of ignore him. I do think there's fall damage. Oh no, it's starting again. Actually, our eyes... Oh! Hasn't turned red yet. There are 4 of them on the first level, and they're... Oh, the light blinds us, and they attack... Ooh. 2 can play this game. So because of the sound that changes, we can see why Xiaozhang has decided to made himself... No! Wait. He can... Does he come back, or did I lose the chance to kill that one? Oh, he's back. Sneak attack. Ow, 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 oh, no! We fell. Okay, a little bit tricky. If we get spawned back to the previous shrine, which we do, we're just gonna end our episode here. Oh, this spins faster. Oh, right. Didn't finish that story. A world surrounded by seas. There's 4 continents that spread out north, south, east, west, and in the middle of this land is a giant 28-floor towers, kind of like this, where you ascend to true enlightenment. So this kind of symbolizes that as well. But this is going to be an interesting realm as we try to battle our way up this pagoda, and we'll pick up those 8 lamp guards or lamp wardens along the way. And hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll see you all next time. Bye!